Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Paint Trips podcast. This is the live solo sessions, I guess. I really don't know what to call them, but yeah. So sorry, I'm a little late. I had a little bit of technical difficulties with before going live and shit, but I think we're up now. So I'm gonna be working on this painting, the Kendrick Lamar. Hope it's not. He doesn't look like Kendrick Lamar just yet. I mean, there's a lot more details I need, especially on the eye. I did some details the other time on the hand, but that was the podcast that the mic cut off like halfway. Actually, 15 minutes in, the mic just stopped working. So right now, it seems like the mic's working, so we should be fine. Um, but yeah, happy New Year to everybody. Hopefully, everybody's year's been going pretty good the whole 2 days. But yeah, so give me a quick second. I'm going to promote this on my Instagram and stuff. So let me do that real quick. Um, let me talk about. Let me see. So the painting is supposed to have like a crazy background with clouds and like weird rays of sun rays coming through the clouds and stuff. So I kind of organized that or like set it all up with Photoshop. If if you haven't done um any paintings, if you haven't set up any paintings with Photoshop in the past, I highly recommend it. Um it helps speed up a lot of things, especially composition, composing a painting. Um you kind of set up the file size, you set up your Photoshop size to your canvas size. And this way you start messing around with stuff you want to paint. You start putting it together. Um, and it really does speed up the process. So this image here, the image for the head in my reference photo, it's at a totally different angle. It's black and white. So these colors I'm adding is just based on other references, other photos of Kendrick Lamar, and I'm adding those to my black and gray reference. And I did that with Photoshop, and it's really quick once you kind of know what to do. And you're just using it as little bit of a guide. You don't really have to paint on Photoshop, like get it all painted and then transfer it on to your canvas. You don't really have to do that. You just need, for me, I just basically needed guidelines, the guides of, like, let's say the head. Like, I just needed the basic outline, and then I put it together. So hit this hand, the hand. So the hand's from a totally different reference. But yeah, that's Kendrick Lamar's hand. I had to look up a bunch of fucking pictures to try to get that perfect angle. I wanted it to be an angle that was a little dramatic, but too not too hip hop ish. So there's certain gestures that people do when they rap that's really, really like hip hop, and it's cool. But I think this one, it's like a in between. It looks like he's like calling for something to stop, um, or actually, I don't really know what it could be doing. I think that's the beauty of this painting, or at least that's what I'm trying to attempt. I'm trying to compose it in a way where you can kind of have various meanings to the position of his hand, to what he's actually doing. Is he trying to stop something? Is he, you know, speaking on something, and you caught him at mid phrase, or not mid phrase because his mouth is not open, but um I don't know. There's something about his stare in this picture, especially in the reference picture. There's like some kind of focus. It's like a weird focus and intensity. So that's kind of why I picked the painting, or the reference image. I also like his hair in the reference image. He's got the cornrows, but in the back he's got his bun. So I kind of like that. I thought that was pretty cool. This is way before his hair got longer. I mean, his hair's pretty long in this one, but it was not as long as it is now. So I also added this color for the jacket. I believe his jacket was some kind of black or gray or something like dark color. And I wanted to go with the red because the red kind of so if you really look at the image, you have red, you have blue, and you have yellow. Yellow underneath the clouds. So I have my three primaries. And that's kind of why I chose it. And in the face, I'm gonna add tints of blues, greens, and oranges. Um, I believe those are secondary colors. So I don't know. I'm gonna have a good range of colors in this painting. Um, but yeah. All right. Back to promoting this. Man, sorry guys. Oh my god, I don't know how to do the screen. The There we go. All right. So my screen on my phone broke. So now only half my screen, only the top bottom half. I mean, only the bottom half of the phone has touch, has sensor. So anything above my phone, my upper half of my phone, I can't touch. It doesn't have any like sensor anymore. So no matter what I click up on top halfway through the phone, it just doesn't work. So I have to keep flipping my phone around and maneuvering between like the sides and hoping the app kind of flips over to the side and just touching on one half of the phone. It's fucking annoying. I'm gonna get a new phone hopefully soon, but that's just what I've been dealing with. So I haven't been able to really post anything because Instagram for some reason doesn't go sideways, and you can't use it on like a little pop up. So because you can't do that, I'm not able to finalize any picture uploads. So I can't really post anything. The only way I'm posting is through this stupid tablet, this little tablet I got, and which is fine. It's okay. It's just a little slow. And let me see. It's a little slow, but I'll get it. Copy link. Um, but yeah. Anyways, so let me talk about a bunch of random shit. Nah, I'm joking. So my Christmas was pretty cool. I got a bunch of really cool shit. Um, I got a bunch of cool art stuff. My wife bought me a bunch of cool little. She bought me a little watercolor set, which is dope. Um, Actually, let me show you guys. Let me show you guys. It's a pretty cool set. Okay, so she got me this cool moleskin sketchbook. It's a really cool moleskin sketchbook. The paper is really cool. I haven't sketched anything on here. That's because I've been using this watercolor paper. Let me see. Man, it's too bright. You can't see shit. But anyways, yeah. So I've been using the watercolor paper. I just cut up a bunch of little small papers, so I can use my watercolors. These are the watercolors I got. They're Winsor Newton, and they come in this like these little these little cubes, and then you put them together in your little setup. It's super cool, and then it comes with this like um, watercolor brush that you fill with water, and it's small. You fill it in with water. You can't really see. You fill it with water, and then you just keep it in there whenever you need to like go and you want to sketch and you want to do a quick little watercolor sketch. You can just plop it out and get to painting, and you don't need to carry any water bottles or anything really. You probably just maybe need a napkin, but yeah. So that's why I cut up a bunch of little watercolor paper here so I can sketch. And earlier today at lunch, during my lunch break, I was doing a little watercolor sketch of what's his name from Cess Crew. Um, oh my god, why can't I think of his name? Because I think he recently changed it, or his album's called Distro, and yeah, Distro, and his name is Godamus. What the fuck, man? Godamus, from Cess Crew, dope ass rapper, really cool, and I actually did a really cool like script of his name a long time ago, and I really liked it. I got a chance to send it to them, um, but yeah, and I did a Cess Crew and I sent that to them too. Um, but yeah, I was doing a quick sketch of him on my watercolors earlier today. He has this really cool image, and I was gonna do it with the watercolors, but I think I might do a quick painting, quick little oil painting of it. I really like it. It's very expressive. The image is expressive, so I really like it. Um, so let me see. Dope. Somebody replied to my story. I like using the gifs. I think I've told people before. I like using the little gifs on here. But yeah, this laptop's super slow. It's like an old ass laptop. Um, but yeah, let me take off my jacket because I don't want to get any paint on it. Move my watercolors over. This will work. All right, that shit is live now. We're 100% live. All right, so let's see. I gotta mix some paint. Um, let me try to add some green and some oranges onto here. Um, oh, dope. Thanks, man. No, go back. Go back. God damn it. Nah. Whatever. Whatever. Go back. Go back. God damn it. Anyways. Cool. Um so anyways, that's the stuff I got for Christmas. I also got a new couch. So that was pretty cool. I'm kind of glad we got a couch finally. We had a really old couch, and that couch was like used. Like we bought it used. It was a good deal. It was pretty good for what we paid for it. And we had that for it was about a whole year and a half maybe. And yeah, so finally got a new couch. It's a lot better, a lot bigger, and so really happy with that. And that's pretty much it for New Year's. I didn't really do anything for New Year's. We went to I went to my in-laws' house, and we ate some pozole. We watched that movie Knives Out. I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Knives Out. Really dope movie. Really dope movie. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but You guys should definitely check it out. It's funny. It's it's more funny than anything, but it's very like mysterious or whatever. It's kind of like a Clue type of thing. At least that's what I thought. Oh wow, it's gonna be like a live action Clue movie or whatever, but uh, it's not. It's really not. It's really it's really cool. I don't know how to explain it without kind of giving away a lot of it. So if you've been planning on seeing that movie, I definitely suggest you go see it. Really dope movie. Um but yeah. Yeah, now I'm trying to start the year with a new podcast. These podcasts are, like I've said before, these are just to try to make it a lot easier for me to speak so I don't like stumble or kind of get bogged down on certain words and certain sentences. So I'm just trying to get a little more familiar with talking to the mic myself. I am by myself here in my studio, and sometimes it's kind of hard to talk to yourself. But the more I do it, I guess the easier it'll be. I know I am talking to everybody who is watching or gets to watch or at one point watches. So I'm trying to keep that in mind, and try to make it feel like I'm talking to someone or all of you, like an audience type of thing. Um, but it's sometimes it's a little difficult. So what I tried doing is I wrote like a list of topics or things to kind of talk about, and these are things that I've just kind of been going through my head. And let me see. So I have like the Baroque. I was watching the Baroque. There's this documentary. If you go to YouTube and you type in Baroque or yeah, Baroque. I think that's how you pronounce it, Baroque. Baroque painting. Um, it's Baroque is spelled Baroque. Baroque, and then painting. If you type that in on YouTube, you're gonna see all these videos pop up, and there's one that has the word timeline, and I believe it's a guy with glasses on the thumbnail, and it says part one of three, and it's like a 3-part series, and I believe it's like about an hour. But really, if you're interested in that stuff or you want to check out what the Baroque era was, um, definitely go watch that series on Timeline. It's three videos. Each video is, I believe, an hour to 40 to minutes to an hour. Um, Honestly, it's really interesting. I've been watching that stuff for a while now, and that's kind of what got me inspired to do this Kendrick painting. Um, Obviously the whole era, but that video really helped put a visual representation of it, because when you study it on your own, you go in your own wormholes and you pop up certain things, and you go from a piece of information to another piece of information, and you kind of curate. And in this one, it's presented to you in a certain way, and it's interesting, and you learn stuff that you didn't know. And like in that, I believe it's in that documentary or in that web series, whatever it is. I'm not exactly sure how to define it, but in there, it's where he talks about Guido Reni having an assassination attempt on him. And Guido Reni is that he's like an old master painter. He did a lot of amazing paintings. Look him up. He's done like a really famous Michelangelo. I mean, yeah, no. Is it Michelangelo? No, it's not Michelangelo. He did he did David and Goliath. Sorry. He did David and Goliath. He also did man, he did a bunch of paintings. I have them on my computer, but I don't know the exact names of them. Sometimes it's kind of hard to remember all these names. and there was a lot of amazing artists back in the day. Obviously, there's Da Vinci, there's Peter Paul Rubens, and there's these big time masters, but there's also some that I've never heard of. They're not as known, or you really have to be into painting to know them. And it's not like common knowledge. Like Da Vinci, definitely common knowledge. Picasso, kind of common knowledge. But there's some painters that are like little gems, and unless you're into that stuff, you're not gonna really know about those artists. Like, I didn't know about John Singer Sargent until probably like a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago. And I'm 30, so and I'm a painter, so a painter, I guess. I just started painting like 7 years ago, but yeah, like, it's not common knowledge. And there's a painting I've been wanting to study, and it's in one of my books, and I've never heard of the artist who painted it, but that painting is super dope, and it's super big. It's like it's a really big painting. Uh, Man, you know what? I'm gonna take a picture of it and I'm gonna post it on Instagram so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, I forget where I was going with that. Um, all right, let me get some of my paint ready so I can start painting instead of just like talking. Let me see. Let me get some colors. All right, so I said I was gonna do some green, right? Some green and some purple. Oh, also I'm gonna put on my gloves. I mentioned last time that I'm trying to be a little safer with these paints. I'm a pretty messy painter. I'm trying not to be, but pretty messy. Like, overall, I'm pretty messy. Um, so hopefully I get a little better at not being that messy. So for now, I'll just wear gloves. Just make sure to wear gloves. Just whatever gloves. I have some cheap ass ones that I wear too. These are like regular. You get these at Walmart or whatever. I also use these clear ones, these vinyl ones. So it doesn't really matter. You can use whatever kind of gloves you want. Um, Let me see. I a lot. All right, so I got some purple. Let me get some purple on here. And these are just gonna be glazes. So I want some purple, and let's do some orange too. So hopefully I'm not being annoying with this shit. Go. Have you ever thought? Have you ever like, oh, why would anybody get orange? Like, this is a really good orange to get. This is like a little secret weapon orange to get, and it's so shiny. It's called cadmium orange hue. Cadmium orange hue. Like, this is a super dope orange. I use this in a lot of my paintings. You mix that orange with some purple, and it'll turn brown, and turn into a really cool brown. Um, so that's kind of why I like it. You can also just kind of do little like glazes, and it'll look super dope. Also another like secret weapon, not secret weapon, but it's like a color you wouldn't think to really get. At least I didn't think to really get when I was painting. Is the sap green. The sap green has like a transparency to it, so it doesn't really overtake any of the colors. So it tints them and it darkens them, but it doesn't darken them too crazy. It just kind of low darkens the opacity a little bit. without changing the color too much, you know? So that's why I like that sap green. Uh, those are those are some that I really like to have. I like to have just a purple. The purple I used on mine. Let me see. So there's two purples. So unorganized with my shit. Um, crimson, alizarin crimson. It's also a good color to have on your palette. This is just I'm not since it's a big painting. I do not want to. I'm doing small glazes, so I don't want to pour out a huge amount of paint. Like if I'm not gonna work on the background, I'm not gonna pour out any blue. And it's a big area. I want to focus on maybe this area here, and maybe a little bit on the eye. And if I'm just gonna focus on this area, I'm just gonna pour out a little bit of paint. I'm trying to pour out less and less paint. Um, One, because I think there's just quite a bit of more time in between me painting. I try to paint every day, but especially for the holidays, I have not been able to paint every day, and I don't want the paint to kind of go to waste. This paint will last a good amount, but there's still areas of the paint that becomes unusable. Usually the outer crust, the inside's still good, but the outer crust, but that's still being wasteful. So I'm trying not to be wasteful. Um, okay, so I poured some paint. I have I have my reference going. So I I'm excited for January. Actually, I have about 5 guests already lined up for January. So definitely trying to put out more content for everybody, more podcast with guests. Like I said, I'm only doing these solo ones just to get a little more familiar. So the ones with the guests are the ones that like I think I feel the ones I feel like I have more to gain from. Um, I mentioned it before, and I'm gonna mention it again. Every time I talk to somebody new, I learn something. I learn something new. Something. Oh my god, chigato. I learned something new. So and it's just nice getting people's perspectives. And I have a bunch of really cool artists coming up, and I can't wait for those conversations. um so yeah, that's coming up for January. If anybody's an artist, you're checking out the podcast, and you're local to LA, and you think you might have fun having a conversation with me and sketching, because that's pretty much what the podcast is we sketch together and we have a conversation, kind of like if we're kicking it and having like a black book session or whatever. So if you're local to LA, or you're going to be in the area, and you're an artist from another state, and you're going to be here for a certain time, hit me up and maybe we can schedule something and have a podcast. I know Beloved, uh, from up north, from the Bay Area. He was down here for a little bit, and man, I'm really happy he was able to come out and do the podcast. If you haven't checked out his episode, or his podcast episode, you should really check it out. It's super interesting. He talks about how he found God, and what that's done to change his life, and how he found art, and the different stages in his art career, which some people don't know. Beloved was a tattoo artist, and now he's doing, full-time art, script, painting. He doesn't do tattooing as much, and in that podcast, he really just tells me about it, and we talk about anime. And it's a really cool episode. If you like Beloved and you want to know a little more about him, definitely check out the podcast. This is why I do these podcasts um, in this format. I feel like the more you talk to someone, the more that their personality um, shows through, and they can explain a little more, and they can articulate their story, their struggles, and that's what I really enjoy from these podcasts. So I try to ask the questions that'll keep that going, keep that flow going. And sometimes it's hard. I've had some mix ups on my half where I feel like I could have asked an artist a little more. But hey, hopefully some of the artists will come back and we can dive in a little deeper into their art career, themselves, their personality, what they're into. I don't know. I really like getting to know artists. Seeing another artist's perspective is really interesting to me. When you look back at master painters, and you kind of listen to their biographies, or you know you listen to stories about these artists, and these are just perceptions of, if the artist kept a journal, that's great. You get to know a little more about the artist if they kept a journal. And some artists just didn't, and these are just recollections of people, or the recollections people have of this artist. It's just what people knew about him and how they knew him, and that's great and all. But you know, I think now that we have this technology, and we have the ability to do these long form conversations, I think the more you do it, the more, well, at least the more artists can talk in podcast. I believe they can leave more of a mark and more of their personality out in the world, and I feel like people can resonate, even more with artists, because you see their personality through them, not through somebody's, how somebody knew them. It's literally coming straight from their mouth, and I think that's interesting, especially for artists who you never know. You don't know what artist is going to be the next best thing, or what artist is going to grow so much as a person and as an artist, that they become influential to people, or they become like an example. And I think I can, the more I talk to artists, and different kind of artists, the more I'll have an opportunity to meet these people, and see them through their journey. Maybe people can come back and watch these episodes and be like, oh wow, like that's how that artist was, you know. um i think about I think about the time limit that we have here on earth, and it I become a little more aware of it the older I get, and I'm sure it's not anything new. I'm sure everybody kind of feels the same way, whether you're an artist or not. But um a couple of years ago, one of my friends passed away. He was such an amazing artist and such an amazing person, and sadly his life was cut short. And I always think about, you know it kind of hits you like, hey, you could be next, man. He was a young man, and man, he had such amazing work, and he has such amazing work, but I man, he was such a hard worker, man. He was such a hard worker, and it sucks. It sucks that we couldn't see more of his personality here anymore. You can definitely, in his artwork, you could see the type of person he was, and I'm happy I got to meet him. I'm really happy I got to meet him, and he was a big influence on me. Arlen Pillay, um, that was his name. He had a gallery in Tustin, and man, really dope artist. It really encouraged me to actually start making merchandise, start trying to sell prints of my work, and that encouragement for someone like at his level, someone with such a skill level, telling somebody who's kind of starting, and I'm sure everybody felt it, or a lot of you have felt it, but you don't think you charging any money for your artwork at first. You don't think that you should charge any money because you don't think it's worth any money at first. And I used to think that a lot about my stuff. And no, he encouraged me. He was like, "Nah, dude, like he's like, I've been doing this for a while, man. And I'm telling you, like, this stuff will sell. I've been doing it for a long time, man. I'm telling you, your work will sell. Just make prints, just get it out there." And man, that changed everything. It changed it sped up a lot of things. It helped me organize a lot of things. Yeah, definitely. For sure, my stuff doesn't move as much as his did, and that my stuff, I still doesn't move as much as I think it should. I get a lot more commissions than I do, people purchasing my stuff. But just the fact that I'm okay with that. I'm okay if it doesn't move. I'm focused on becoming a better artist, knowing, understanding, being able to create more stuff, knowing the fundamentals, because I still don't know them. I can create some stuff, but there's fundamentals I don't have a full grasp of. And only practice, and I got to keep doing it. I got to keep doing it. I got to keep doing it. And I'll be able to produce some stuff, but I just got to keep painting more. So man, I feel like this conversation or this podcast is not really cohesive. Like, it doesn't really make sense. I'm going from topic to topic. Like, man, it's really hard to talk to yourself sometimes. It really is, and it's a little trippy. Um, I'm drinking fucking coffee, black coffee, which is fucking gross, but low key wakes you up. Well, I guess it's not low key. Everybody knows that, but it fucking wakes you up, and it's gross, but it helps. It helps sometimes with, like, if you're hungry. That's just something I've been taking a look at. God damn it! All right, so let me take a look at my topics, and I'm gonna zoom into my reference. So yeah, something's up with this shit. So my reference is like, fuck, all over the place. Whatever. Oh, you know what? Hmm. There you go. Man. Um, the other day I was talking about with Miranda, the homie Miranda Nana. Um, we were talking about like artists, what the motivation is behind the artist who have created a character, and their characters have like pushed them to a higher degree financially, because their characters are so loved. Their characters are loved. And I was thinking about not so much the motivation, but what the drive is, um as a character artist, as an artist with a character that's so beloved, like what the drive is, and these artists, like I was thinking like, oh, like, you know do you do you focus so much on the character and pushing the character's boundaries and flipping it, and like, is that the motivation? Or do you hit a point where it's like, if people want this character, that's what I'm gonna do? Like, do you become like stagnant in that way? Or what is the drive? What is the drive for these artists? And one of the examples was Sand One. Sand One has a certain style, has these girls, and um I I don't know what the drive is. I'm not hating her. She's an amazing businesswoman, an amazing artist. But I was thinking like, oh, okay, what pushes you? And I'm only viewing it as what pushes me. So what pushes me, or what drives me to keep creating, is totally different from everybody else's. So I was viewing it on, hey, my drive is to become better, to become better at creating art. There's better at my techniques and better at creating. I'm not saying there's a cap like this is the best or blah blah blah, but my influences are a certain style. A certain style of painting that influences me, and I know that my creations are nowhere near that level, or I don't know how to achieve that technique, that skill. And that's what drives me. Like, I need to learn it, I need to figure it out, I need to be able to do that, to create what's in my head. And I have certain things in my head and certain paintings in my head that I want to create, and I have like a small vision, but I can't get it out because of my lack of skill or knowledge or whatever. And that's kind of what drives me. But I don't know what drives someone who has a character that's so loved and adored, and that's what's getting them money, because it is loved, and it's a great character. But that's why I was wondering, like, what keeps them going? It can't just be the money. They're artists. It can't just be the money. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. I think they have a love for it. Like, there's got to be something. Anyways, tracking back, so me and Miranda were kind of talking about it, and one of the things she said, that this character artist, or this artist that is famous by a particular character, or a particular character in a certain style. She said that, you know, maybe maybe one of the things that drives her is because the character was hated, or was frowned upon by its peers. You know, there's people view character artist, or not people, certain artists view character artists as like, that's their niche. That's the type of things they do. You categorize them as, that's this artist. But that is said in a negative connotation, or a negative way. Um and it bothers the artist. It would bother me if someone said, oh, well, you're just whatever, this, you only do this, like, and they brush you aside. So she was saying that the reason she kept doing it, and the thing that motivates her is to prove everybody wrong. Like, sometimes at a certain level, people are like, "You're not gonna get anywhere if you just keep doing this." But on the contrary, like, these people have pushed it and, had this consistency and this dedication to this character, and have created, stories, and have created this character that's so well rounded, and it's so easily it's so memorable, I guess would be the word, memorable, um, that proves everybody wrong. Like, I'm sure San Juan's probably like, I probably got a bunch of shit for my characters, and I still get shit, but she's getting paid. She's got a fan base. She's got, she's doing her, and that's what that's something I hadn't thought of. Like, I hadn't thought of that drive. Like, hey, I've had so many people look down on my art that now it's like, I have to prove everybody wrong. Like, I have to do it. And that's a great drive, man. Like, that's really a great drive. Uh, and I just thought it was interesting because I hadn't thought about it that way. I was thinking it, based on my drive, or my reasoning to keep going, my reasoning to keep going, and it's not the same as everybody's. It's not the same as everybody's, and people do it for different reasons, and people continue to do it for different reasons, and it was kind of ignorant of me to think that. I guess I didn't think it, but that was my first initial thought. Like, I didn't really think it through. How often do you actually get to dissect and have these thought experiments, or these, of, hey, I wonder why this, I wonder why that. And it was nice to have, another artist to kind of bounce that off of, bounce back and forth and get their input and my input. And that's why I like talking to artists. That's why I really like talking to artists, because I can work out these ideas and work out these, thoughts, and get different perspectives, and then form my own opinion. And I don't know. Sometimes you can't do that, because you're being fed a certain amount of things, and unless you actively search, um artist, and there's probably no better way to get to clarify things than a long form conversation, or a podcast like this, or any podcast, because you have an hour to, explain what you're trying to mean. And, um 5-minute videos, 10-minute videos aren't going to get that across, let alone 15 seconds, or the 1 minute that Instagram has. Like, you're not going to be able to articulate your point of view. And, so that's, man, I don't even know what I was going with this, but, I guess I'm trying to say why I like podcasts. Um, why I like doing this podcast. I definitely don't don't have like a lot of viewers or anything, but it's really fun to do. It's really fun to do, and it's nourishing for me because I get to see all those perspectives. So that's why I keep doing it. Um, I wonder if people joined. Excuse me. All right, let's get to painting. I'm lagging it. Wonder if people joined. I guess you could have a chat, like, during the live stream, I guess. I don't see anybody. I don't think anybody's here. Honestly, I think it's just me. But fuck it. Um, damn, I've done about an hour and I haven't even fucking touched the canvas. Let's see. Um, this is just a glaze, I guess. Just a little glaze layer. I think this glaze, I don't know if my technique is called that, but I think, certain soft glazing techniques are called sfumatu or something. I forget the exact name for it. But that was that thing Da Vinci developed. This technique of subtle shifts. Man, this shit got dark. Got too dark. I think I fucked it up. So sometimes you just fuck up your painting. Damn it. I think I did fuck it up, guys. Nah, it'll be fine. Actually, I think I gotta go get a different brush. Hold on. All right. So my fuck. So I put some green on there, but I think it was a little too much. So I want to spread it. So I'm gonna just grab a big brush and just spread this, so I don't have any of those sharp edges. I don't know if you guys can. I don't even know if you guys can even see what the fuck I'm doing. But that green just kind of gave this shit a tint, you know? So really digging that. And it's got a little green tint to it. Now let's add some purple. Let's get a new brush. All right. Maybe in here. Hmm. Sometimes, honestly, sometimes I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I have ideas in my head, but executing them sometimes is troublesome. Or you think one way is gonna work, but then it doesn't. And now you gotta fucking find out a new way to achieve things. But yeah, man, this purple tint looks cool. And now I'm softening some of these edges. go. Oh, that's not bad actually. I was close. I'm gonna be going to Vegas, January 11th. Shout out to the homie Steve over there in Vegas. He does really dope art. He's been down here for some conventions. I think he did Designer Con. He has these really dope designs, and he does dope characters, and really cool guy. He does some really dope pins, and he collects a little more pins, and he likes collecting a bunch of different artist stuff, and really cool guy. So I think he lives in Vegas. I believe he lives in Vegas. So shout out to him. I'm gonna be in his neck of the woods. I'm gonna be going to Rex Orange County. Uh, Rex Orange County. That's the artist name. Concert. So kind of excited about that. Have Last time I went to Vegas was probably like 3 years ago for the Consumer Electronics fucking show, whatever. Yeah, Consumer Electronics show. I went for work, so it was pretty interesting. It was fun, but you're working, so it's not crazy fun. Um, it's a little fun. So that was pretty cool. Um, but now I'm gonna go with my wife, so that might be a lot of fun. Not really gonna gamble. Not really a big gambler actually at all. I actually don't like gambling. Um, Maybe because I'm in Spanish you say colo, but I guess um, what is it? Cheap? I guess cheap. I just kind of I'd rather keep my money or spend my money on me than have the chances of losing it. I don't know how to explain it. I think that's why I don't like gambling. Like also, I don't believe I really have like kind of good luck for that stuff. I wouldn't say I'm lucky because I think I am lucky in a lot of things. Especially my loved ones and all that. I believe I'm lucky to have them. Um, and my upbringing, I believe I'm lucky. I only dealt with certain bad things, and my upbringing wasn't really bad. At all. There were some issues with I guess just different stuff, parents divorce kind of stuff. Um, but that's pretty much it. It wasn't anything super crazy. I moved a bit and that kind of sucked, but overall, I think I had a really fun upbringing, and I like to thank my mom and my dad for that. For providing as much as they could, and honestly, for bringing me here and you know help provide like more opportunities for me, because I believe that here instead of Mexico I did have more opportunities. But um I don't know the type of life I would have had in Mexico. um my cousins and everyone seems to have a normal and fun life, but I don't know how mine would have been in Mexico. So I'm kind of happy I grew up here. Like I said, it was never a bad upbringing, and I think I was lucky. Yeah, some people just don't have that. And anyways, where was I? All right, so let's add what next? Let's add a little bit of that orange. And I'm only adding glazes, by the way. Just glazes. I'm just giving it a little bit of a tint, I guess here. Hmm. These glazes are interesting there. I'm just tinting this stuff. It's just little tints. I'm just spreading it with kind of a dry brush. Hmm. This works. I think I've done a little over an hour, so I think I'm gonna cut the podcast. Plus, I kind of ran out of stuff to talk about. Um, in this podcast, I have no idea what I actually talked about. Sometimes, um, I went all over the place with this shit. Um, but yeah. Oh, so if you haven't subscribed, subscribe so you don't miss out on like the next podcast with the guest. Let me see. I also started a Fiverr account. So if you look up Enigma 32 on Fiverr, I'm doing portraits commissions. So I'll be doing commissions, and they start off at 350, and this is for a 16 by 20 canvas. It starts off at 350. Then I have my standard. So that one's the basic. Then I have the standard, which is gonna be 24 by 24, and that's 550. And I believe it's this size. Hold on, I think this one's 24 by 24. Give me a second. Yeah, so that's 550, and you get a portrait this size. This is 24 by 24. 24 by 24 right here. And then if you want to get uh, the the professional or the highest package, that is gonna be, I believe, 990, 900, 900 and something, and that's for a 40 by 40, and that's this size. This is the Kendrick. Kendrick is 40 by 40. So if you're interested on getting a portrait of someone, or maybe someone you like, or a loved one, you want to give it as a gift, definitely go to my Fiverr. If anything, I'll put the Fiverr link in the comments. I have some examples of my work on there, so you guys could see the range of styles I can do for your portrait. Definitely check it out if you're interested. Yeah, these that's just something I'm doing. It's very limited. I'm not gonna do a crazy amount. One, because it's painting a portrait is very time consuming, and I'm probably gonna only be able to take a couple at first, and then until I'm done with those, I'll open it up again. So if you're interested and you don't want to wait till way late, definitely check out uh, the Fiber link in the comments. And yeah, I think we're done for today. Shout out to all the podcast guests for 2019. Thank you so much for everything everybody did. Everybody taking out their time out of their schedule to come out, and I'm excited for 2020. I think January is going to be a good start. So if anybody's interested and you're in the LA area and you want to have a conversation and talk, hit me up. And all right, well, bye bye.